Well, looks like we've got a new salesperson over here. You're what we would call in the sales industry green. I don't know why they call green new salespeople green. That's just really kind of how it works out. It's just a form and an expression. Don't take it the wrong way if you don't like the color green, but you're green. And ultimately what you're looking to do is become successful as a sales professional. After all, it's pretty difficult. It's littered with being rejected, kicked in the teeth, cursed out, hung up on, door slammed in the face, and you want to get the most out of this opportunity so you can stack cash to the ceiling, so that you can get people to fall in love with you, so that you can have confidence and swag, make a bunch of money, and live a lifestyle that most other people can't. Although you're in the right career, there are going to be 10 tips that you're going to want to know so that you can maximize your sales career and get the most out of it. And of course, I'm going to give those to you right now. But first, I do want to mention that this is the type of information that I would typically not put on YouTube. I usually save this type of content for my Stupar Sales Academy clients. And yes, you can click on the link in the description, get lifetime access to over 12 hours of content just like this and 170 different advanced lessons for sales professionals in any industry for only $497. Here's the 10 tips on how you can get the most out of your sales career as a new green salesperson. Tip number 1 is stay the hell away from negative, toxic, low-producing salespeople. These people will no doubt diminish your ability to have success because they're toxic, they're negative, they're not experiencing success, they're not at the top of the board, they're not winners. These are the type of people that love other losers and want you to be a loser too so that they can have more company for their misery, because you know what they say, misery loves company. So they're gonna want you in that company so you can be miserable. You get what I'm saying. You'll be able to notice these low producers because they don't really produce a whole lot. They usually don't make a lot of phone calls. They're not usually knocking a lot of doors. They usually don't drive nice cars, live in nice houses, or, they're just really easy to point out because they don't produce much. So they don't have much. Therefore, they're pretty easy to find, is what I'm trying to say. Aside from the fact that low producers will keep you from reaching your potential, I will also say you're also going to find yourself being a low producer and wanting to be a low producer to justify the new belief system that you have been handed by the low producers. Low producers think that all customers are broke. They think that what they're doing in a sales job is just a waste of time or just an ends to a mean so that they can get that next little paycheck. They're not really striving for greatness. They're not really developing new skills. They're not investing in themselves. They're not improving, and they're literally going nowhere. So you need to ask yourself, do you want to be one of these people or do you want to be one of the top producers? Should be pretty simple for you to choose. Tip number 2 is get around the winners. After all, since you're not hanging out with the low producers after taking my brilliant advice, you're going to free yourself up a little bit of time to hang out with the winners. These are the people that are at the top of the sales board. These are the people making the big paychecks. These are the people that are actually pulling into work with a nice car. These are the type of people that you see on Instagram in a nice apartment, a nice house, and ultimately eating nice food, having cold drinks, and living a better lifestyle because they're winners. These are the people that think all of their customers are ballers. These are the people that are positive. They are not toxic. They're not argumentative. They're not confrontational. And they want more out of the game, and secretly, they want more out of the game for you as well. And they're willing to teach you, they're willing to inspire and motivate you, and also help you develop the skills that you need so that you can experience success. Because people that are winning in life want to see other people win. That's just the way that this whole thing works. So avoid the losers and the low producers and find the winners out there that are making investments in themselves and ultimately getting ahead in the sales game. And by the way, one of the best things that you can do is join Stupar Sales Academy to get around hundreds, if not thousands, of other top producing sales professionals that are investing in themselves and winning in the sales game. Tip number 3 is listen to your managers when it comes to all things product knowledge. Product knowledge is important. It is, after all, the thing that you are selling. It makes sense to know about how that widget works or how that one feature applies to your customer's life. You're going to want to know some of these things so that you can ultimately know how to demonstrate it and pitch it to your customers. Your customers are going to care a great deal about the products that you sell, so you should probably know about them. And also, a little bullet point underneath that point is that you should believe in your product. You should believe that it solves a problem for your customers. If you don't, well, you're gonna have a hard time selling people on it, because no matter how good your product is, no matter how low your price is, you're gonna hear things like objections and resistance from customers trying to explain to you why they shouldn't buy your product, when if you're not sold on your product and don't really believe in it, you're gonna have a very difficult time transferring that certainty and confidence that your buyer needs to make a decision to work with you to your buyer, in which case they're not gonna buy. And if you don't believe in your product, then I would recommend that you quit your job before you even start it and go find a product or service that you can actually get behind. Because yes, you're gonna wanna believe in your product, but also, of course, pay attention to your manager and make sure you're getting the right information so that you understand what it is that you're actually selling. Tip number 4 is never listen to your managers when it comes to sales advice. Your managers aren't actually in the trenches taking grenades and doing sales processes with you. They're just managing the sales team. Sure, they might have strung together a couple of solid months in the past when they were a warrior, but these days they're a little bit rusty. They haven't been developing new sales skills. They've been working on their management skills, and ultimately, they're never really going to be able to help you do exactly what you need to do in the sales process because they're not involved in the sales process. What you might want to consider doing is outsourcing some of that homework, some of that knowledge, and some of the expertise that you need to develop as a salesperson to a person like me inside of Stupar Sales Academy, so that you can get more out of what it is that you do. Because unlike your managers, I'm growing a business and I'm in the trenches every single day with my team making sales great again. And that is something that you're going to want to be a part of. Tip number 5 is to never, ever pay attention to your company's quota. Now, I'm not saying that you should be a low producer and never hit your quota because it doesn't matter. That would be a grave mistake. The thing that I'm saying is that your company's quota, the number of revenue or the number of new customers that you need to generate on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis in order to hit your quota, you shouldn't pay attention to those numbers because they have nothing to do with your actual potential. In fact, what you should do is take that quota and multiply it by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, by 20, so that you can actually reach for your potential. And by the way, if you do that, you'll do what I did and outproduce your entire sales office combined. Because while everybody is chasing 100 of whatever it is that they're chasing, and you're chasing 1,000, on a bad month, you might end up actually with 500 of whatever it is that you're looking to sell, and of course, blowing the quota out of the water and making way more money than every single person on your team combined. Tip number 6 is know what you're shooting for. Are you shooting to earn more money than everybody else in your sales office, or does that matter a little bit less to you because all you really want to do is be the top dog? It doesn't really matter which one of those you are attracted to. You're probably going to make more money than everyone else if you're trying to be the top dog. And if you're trying to make the most amount of money, then you're probably going to be the top dog. But make sure that you're pretty clear on where it is that you want to be. Is it realistic for you right now in day number 1 or day number 10 or week number 1 of your sales career to be the top person? Maybe not. So be realistic a little bit with your goals and your intention of where it is that you want to be. But also understand that your goal at all times should never be to be at the bottom or be in the middle or be in second place. Like Nelly said, nobody remembers second place, and third place doesn't really matter. Everybody only knows who number 1 is. So be that person and set your intention to be that person at all costs. And I promise your chances of being that person will probably pan out pretty well, like they did for me. Tip number 7 for new salespeople is outproduce everybody on activity. No, you don't necessarily need to worry about results right now and how many contracts you get, how much revenue you secure, or how many new customers you sign up for your product or service. The thing that you're going to want to do as a new salesperson is develop skills and trip and fall as many times as you possibly can within a certain window of time. You should spend the first 90 days of your sales career literally looking for failure and duplicating it as many times on a daily basis as possible. If everyone else in your office right now is averaging 50 to 75 or 100 phone calls a day, be the person that lights up the auto dialer and makes 400, 500, 600 calls every single day. 1, that's going to give you an opportunity to fail a lot of times so that you can learn a lot of lessons. And 2, that's also a frequent enough amount of work for you to actually get those reps in. Without reps, without practice, and without failure, you're never going to succeed, you're never going to grow, and you're never going to get better. So instead of trying to focus on being the top producer right off the rip, Start focusing on outproducing everybody else when it comes to normal day-to-day activities. And I promise over a period of time, you will start outproducing them in results. Tip number 8 for new salespeople is to focus on those results regardless. I know that we just mentioned that you should be focusing on activities, but why not also focus on some of the results that you want to get alongside that? Maybe it's appointments, maybe it's demos, maybe it's deals closed, maybe it's revenue, new customers, you name it. I want you to focus on those results, and I want you to take a look at who is at the top of your board, and I ultimately want you to set your intention to blow them out of the water, because at the end of the day, it's likely that that person is probably just chasing their quota and doing a little bit of a better job than everyone else. And if you can focus on your potential, you can put in those reps, high levels of activity, no doubt, you're gonna fill up your sales pipeline and destroy everybody on your team, like I did in the past, which I would highly recommend you do. Tip number 9, especially for those of you that are on some type of salary plus commission pay plan, get the hell off a salary as fast as humanly possible, whether either inside your company or going somewhere else and switching companies where you can be fully commissioned. The compensation that you receive as a salesperson is the most rewarding and most beneficial thing about being a salesperson. And if you're guaranteed a certain level of income, then it means that you are going to be capped on how much income you can generate from yourself on commissions. A good way of looking at this, or a good rule of thumb, is by understanding that the harder your sales job is, the more rewarding it's going to be. In other words, if I work in retail at, say, a Verizon wireless store, I'm going to no doubt be paid less, and my potential to earn an income is going to be capped because people are already coming to their own conclusion that they need a new phone, a new plan, an upgrade, and I don't have to do much for them to come to me with those problems for me to solve a solution for them. If you want to earn a lot of money, what you need to do is you need to go out and find people who are currently unaware that they have a problem, help them identify the fact and become aware that they do have a problem, while also simultaneously providing them with a solution. That's how you get paid big bucks in sales. I know it sounds a little bit simpler than what it really is. The point is that you want a tougher sales job, and you want to be able to help other people identify and become aware of problems that they don't currently think or know that they have, while also providing them with a solution. That is where the money is, that's where the dinero is, that's where the cheese, the lettuce, the bread, whatever you call it is. And that's exactly what I want you to get out of the sales game. So as you put up your activity and you pay attention to all of these little tips in this video, get off a salary, because I promise you, it will keep you down. My final tip, and tip number 10 for new salespeople, is while you're taking all these tips seriously and you're executing and implementing, make sure that all of those commissions, when they start rolling in and when you start operating near your potential, live below your means, for the love of God. I can't tell you how many salespeople I see blow stupid amounts of money on the stupidest stuff for absolutely, literally no reason. I'm talking about happy hour rounds of drinks. Just because you had a good sales day doesn't mean that you need to spend $400 trying to get everybody else at the bar drunk on a Tuesday night when you have work the next day. I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy nice shoes, but really, do you need a $500 pair of Yeezys that you really can't wear to work anyway? I'm just saying, stop blowing your money on stupid stuff. Pay off your debt, your student loans, save some money, make some investments, spend it on your brain, because your brain is the thing that will no doubt provide you an ROI for the rest of your life. And if you're looking for that type of investment, I invite you to slide on down to the description and join Stupar Sales Academy, lifetime access with 12 hours of video content designed specifically to help you make more money. And I would say that that's a good value. And by the way, if you enjoyed this, share it with a new salesperson, even if you're not new. And if you enjoyed this, make sure that you like this, comment below. Maybe I missed a special tip or something that you know in sales that could help other people. Ultimately, that's why we're doing this thing, and I'm excited that you came here. I hope that you subscribe, and I hope to see you again in the future. And by the way, I don't really know what else. Whatever.